After serving as a police officer and a firefighter for the City of Charleston, Tony Fogle now wants to bring that experience to Charleston City Council to serve the constituents of District 1. He tells me why he's running for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Tony Fogle, welcome to the award-winning Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you so much for the invite.
Oh, you're very welcome. Obviously, you are a candidate for Charleston City Council's District 1 seat that covers Gainehoy, parts of obviously Daniel Island and downtown Charleston. I know also that you are a retired Charleston City police cop. You're also a retired Charleston firefighter as well. You said this on your Facebook page. You said this: I am delighted to announce my candidacy for Charleston City Council District 1. As a person who has served in public service in the fire department and police department for 26 plus years, I always considered it an honor and privilege to serve our citizens in public safety. Tell me, why Tony Fogle? Why Charleston City Council?
You know, Quintin, great question. Thank you so much. Being born and raised here, and you know, I reckon whenever your heart is with something if you've done for half of your life, obviously it's something that somebody, mainly myself, enjoy doing, which serving the public. And I was asked that question: why are you trying to get back in public service? I mean, haven't you had enough of that? And things are a lot worse now. Things are different than what they were, you know, years ago whenever you were in there. And my answer to those folks is this here. It's a heartfelt thing for me, being born and raised here. And I think whenever you are really, truly a public servant and want to live with that for your lifetime as a legacy, then you never quit serving the public if it's something you love. If you do something you really, truly love, whether it's being a truck driver and you want to drive till the good Lord takes you home, then God bless you. And I would like to have the same honor of being that person as a servant to the city. Not necessarily as a member of the fire or police department, but as a member of the city council and represent the city of Charleston residents.
You talked earlier, Tony, about obviously, you know, public service being at its worst and what it was when you were in public safety during those particular days. What's the biggest difference between now and then?
You know, I think it's administration. I believe that we've lost our focus on things where they were. I know everybody says you can't live in the past. You have to change things for the future. Well, that's all great as long as it's in a proactive sense where you're making things happen for the benefit of the city or the citizens and employees as well. I will say this, just for an example, flooding downtown. And I can remember, you know, as a police officer, whenever we had what Chief Greenberg initiated and Mayor Riley called the Public Safety Service Unit. And they've disbanded that for whatever reason. I will find out why. We need that unit placed back in, because what that safety service unit was able to provide, not just to the citizens, but also to the businesses of the city of Charleston, was that opportunity to put barricades up where streets were flooded. Common sense tells you the barricade's up and there's war on the street, don't drive around the barricade. They were able to provide, we had an animal control unit back then, and you know, they were able to go pick up carcasses off the road, or something happened, or a snake in somebody's house, they would go assist with that. Even though they weren't part of the animal control unit, they would assist with those things. Businesses broken into, they would respond with police officers at nighttime at 24 hours a day. This here unit was involved in providing services for the city of Charleston residents and businesses. They would put plywood up if something happened, like the example of the King Street incident, unfortunately. They would have been there with hands on deck. And the city furnished those facilities, the plywood or the screws, the hammers, the personnel to cover it up to protect the business. Or if the SWAT team or somebody had to break into somebody, had to go into somebody, enter somebody's house, and correct that break and not break, had to enter somebody's house for an arrest. Then if they broke something in there, they would secure that door or whatever it may be. to until the property homeowner or the rental landlord could replace it, or it's just not left open for anybody to go in and help themselves.
What is the state of public safety here in the city of Charleston?
I'm sorry, Quintin?
Yeah, what is the state of public safety here in the city of Charleston?
I think we have, well, I'm not saying, I'm certain, without a doubt, that we have a wonderful police department and a fire department and a sanitation department. They get overlooked a lot, the sanitation department. They don't get enough recognition. And I'm not sure why they're not on Daniel Island any longer, but we'll get to that at some point when I get elected. However, the state of our safety with fire and police is a very big concern for me. And it's a concern for me. I'm not going to talk about the entire city. I want to focus on Daniel Island and the Ansonboro area, which is my district, but I want to represent the entire city, not just the Daniel Island or Ansonboro area. That will be my main concern, to provide for those constituents there. But however, I am one of those people who believe that you can't just focus on one little area. It's a city. It's the city of Charleston, not just the city of Daniel Island or the city of Ansonboro or the city of James Island. I'm concerned about the entire city because I worked in the entire city. I'm very familiar with it. I was familiar with Daniel Island before the first house was built over there. Chief Greenberg used to send us over there before there was a 526, when there was cows in the field and cotton. I mean, I'm very familiar with that. So it's a personal thing for me. And I think we're not providing the services that the people are paying for, let's just say for Daniel Island right now. The fire services. We have two firehouses. One is right there at 7 Farms Drive at the main intersection, and the other one is out by Gainehoy. You have the Gainehoy Volunteer Fire Department, which is a great fire department. They do an outstanding job, let me say that. However, the fire protection there, it's 14 minutes from Gainehoy back to, let's just say 200 River Landing Drive. That's right there by the intersection, the main intersection. If they had a fire there occur, for a commercial structure that size, residential structure that size rather, then it's going to require 5 fire engines, 2 ladder trucks, 3 battalion chiefs, 2 ambulances. It's a large group effort that has to facilitate to make it work properly under the standards. It's supposed to be following ISO standards. Right. And in order to do that, we would have to have North Charleston, who is on their mutual aid agreement with them, come in. And well, let's just say, and this is an old Greenberg Mayor Riley tactic, we don't like to depend on other agencies. If they're there and we need them, it's a great thing to have. But we should be self-sufficient and self-sustained. We learned that during Hugo. We need to have our own facilities, our own place, so we can control it and maintain and manage it for our citizens. If we have a regular house fire over there, Quintin, let me say this because folks don't know this here. Those fire engines only some carry 500, some carry 700 gallons of water on the fire engine. If they have a working fire, say a kitchen fire or a living room fire, and they go on with 2 attack lines, they flow 150 gallons of water a minute per line. That's 300 gallons of water a minute. You only have 700 gallons of water. In under 3 minutes, you're out of water. You have to have that other second engine for a supply truck to supply the attack truck at the scene. God forbid he has to supply the ladder truck, which can flow up to 2,000 gallons of water a minute. As soon as he engages the pump, the tank is dry. So we're in dire need over there on Daniel Island for 2 more firehouses. One right now, because it's only a matter of time before something tragic may happen, and we're going to sit back and say, oh my God, if we would have had another firehouse, or why didn't we have another firehouse? I don't want it on my watch, on my conscience. Even if I'm not elected, which I'm certain I will be, I really believe that this needs to be a topic of conversation. And I'm willing to work with both sides on this here thing 100%, because if both sides are fighting against each other, we never accomplish anything, and we're not serving our citizens, which that's what we're supposed to be doing. You know, public servants. That's what I am. That's what we all are as city council members, helping run our city and maintain it.
Now, how much would these two firehouses cost the city of Charleston?
Well, I tell you, I like that question, because here's what I spoke to a group the other day about when they asked me that question. I said, they're getting ready to place, they're voting on it, I believe January 11th, into the final vote for the low-income housing on Clements Ferry Road over there. Right. I tell you, that's a great thing. However, who's going to pay for that? Firehouse, the builder of the low-income housing. Before he starts building the low-income housing, we need to put the firehouse and a police substation in the same facility, in the same residential, same area where it is. It needs to be placed right there. Because if we're going to place more people in harm's life danger, why wouldn't we protect them when we first build it there? Who's going to pay for the fire apparatus? The builder. The builder's going to pay for it. If he's going to pay for the firehouse to be put there, it shouldn't be the city's responsibility. You know, if they're putting more places in there, let the builder take some of the load and take some of that, carry some of that weight. You know, they're making good profit on these places, and I'm not taking anything from realtors, because it's not a real estate development thing for one individual per se realtor with a certain real estate company. The low-income housing is ran by the county or the city or whatever, and it needs to be managed that way. And so therefore, if the builder's going to build it, he needs to build the firehouse and the police substation first, and then the apparatus. It's $800,000.
Now, okay, what is the current tax base here in the city of Charleston?
I got to relook at that. I had looked at that the other day, and I don't recall right now off the top of my. I don't want to give you a bad number. I'm not going to give you false numbers. If I don't know something off the top of my head, I'm going to say I'm going to look into that and get back to you on it. And I don't have it in front of me right now. Unfortunately, I don't have it in front of me.
What else would you require developers to bring into your District 1?
I believe they need to build more the infrastructure part of. Let's just stick with Daniel Allen for now, not excluding Anson Borough by no means, but the Daniel Allen, especially Clements Ferry Road. You know, those folks out there, they've been forgotten, seems like. I talked to so many people in the last 2 weeks, knocking on doors, speaking with folks, and they feel like they've just been pushed to the side, like they're not important. Every life is important. Every person, every citizen is important. Every resident is important out there. And so we need to have more places for folks to eat out there. There's very limited places for people to eat out there. They have to drive from there either over to Mount Pleasant or back into Daniel Allen or North Charleston. There's limited places for restaurants for folks to eat out there. There's not enough. There's not enough daycare out there. There's not enough red lights. We need 2 more red lights out there. Our traffic situation, they're widening that road, and people are going to continue to speed out there if we don't use some type of, I hate to say enforcement, but we have to think logically and go, we have to slow people down. And people are trying to enter from those side roads there, from residential, the peninsula or different areas there, Beresford coming out of there. And I tell you, I came out of the night just checking myself about dark. And even though it's daylight savings time, I was honestly, I was a little nervous about it. And so instead of trying to make a left turn to pull out, I was going to have made a right turn. Wow. Because I didn't feel like it was safe. It wasn't a safe condition. Red lights need to put in 2 different places over there.
How many speed humps would you put in District 1?
I'm sorry?
How many speed humps would you put in District 1?
I don't know that in speed humps, I think that would be up to the peninsula or Beresford. I think that's a residential decision needs to be made by the folks living in that area. I wouldn't recommend putting speed humps on Clements Ferry Road. The speed limit's 45 and then 55 in some places through there. That wouldn't be a good idea at all. That wouldn't work at all.
Where else should there be a need for police presence in District 1?
Everywhere. Not one certain area. Everywhere. Listen, Quintin, hear me on this here. We have sometimes 2, 3, sometimes maybe police officers working on a shift, and it's supposed to be 5 per shift. The folks are paying for that service. It's no reflection against Chief Reynolds. He's a wonderful police chief, and while we're saying that, I pray for him daily because he's going through this cancer, and I know he's out of state right now at the Mason Clinic getting treatment, and I wish him and his family the best of a full recovery because I think he's a wonderful police chief. I've had a couple conversations with him, not about this. I don't think he even knows I'm running for the city council. See, I never told him. But however, I think that the police presence over there, if you have enough police officers, if people see enough police officers, it does a couple things. It's a deterrent for number 1 of crime, and number 2, it slows people down. And number 3, it's a great community involvement for policing to be familiar with the residents who live there and the business owners.
Yeah.
Back whenever I was met in the police department, we had things called keep a check slips. And in the evening shift, whenever business closed from 10 o'clock to 6 in the morning, the officer would get out his vehicle and write the time, his name, and the business he checked and leave it under the note, slide it under the door, or put it on the mailbox or tape it to the door. It's a good health thing also. The officers get to get out and walk a little bit. And when people see the officer doing that, if somebody's coming to commit a crime, they see the officer walking that shopping center or that neighborhood, they go, we better lead on out of here. Those guys are walking the beat, as they would say back in the day. Or, or the horse patrol. Oh, yes. We need to bring our horse patrol back. The best, I think the best crowd control thing you could have, besides an effective police department and leadership, is that mounted patrol unit. Only a person who, I tell you, a person who's just absolutely, I don't know, they got to be on something. To stand there and let a horse run over them or trample over them they have issues. I mean, a person in their right mind is not going to fight with a horse or run into a horse. They're going to get out of the way. Sure. They did that back in the Wild Wild West. Nobody wanted to get hit by a horse.
Right. And you talk about the police force. You said our police force remains understaffed, even as crime has increased and our neighborhoods have become more dangerous. As a retired police officer, this issue is personal to me. Where has crime increased in District 1?
It has increased in a couple of places. And when I say crime, it's been things like vandalisms to vehicles or bicycle thefts. It takes a community involvement, Quintin. It's not just all on the police. You can't just make the police like your private security guard for your property, okay? It takes a community effort and holding community meetings with the police department. Common sense things like locking your car. Don't leave your car unlocked. Take your keys out of your vehicle, okay? If you have a weapon, take it in your house, put it in your safe and lock it up. Don't leave it in the car in the glove box or underneath the seat. Because a criminal, when they go through your vehicle, they're in and out of there in seconds. If they see the keys, these are all crimes of opportunity for those guys. Wow. And for one certain area, there's not just one certain area. I think we're blessed to not have a lot of crime over there. Berkeley County does a great job, and I would look forward to working with Berkeley County and Sheriff Lewis. He used to be a police officer with us in the City of Charleston. Before he went to work for the sheriff's office, the sheriff over there. Wonderful guy, great sheriff he is. Yeah, I usually see him downtown on the market a lot with his wife. But let me ask you. Yeah, he's a great guy. But let me ask you, with those community meetings, how many of those are happening right now? I don't know of any. I haven't spoken with the Team 5 supervisor yet. I'm sure that they have had some. But oh Lord, I lost you there. Oh, I'm here. Hold on, Quintin, let me go back over there. I'm here. Don't go nowhere. There you are. Sorry about that. I'm here. Forgive me. I was trying to move something off my system. Sure, no worries. But however, the Team 5 lieutenant, I'm sure they've had some meetings. I used to see them in the Gainehoy news, and I think we need to have more of that. Post things out, send letters out, send palm cards out to residents. Community meeting tonight at the Gainehoy Clubhouse. Do it in different areas. You can't pack everybody in one place. Obviously, with the virus going around now, we don't want anyone to get sicker. So just do it in different areas. You may have Simmons Park. You can have it at the Simmons Park Community Place. There's different areas you can have it in over there to hold community policing events where the police can sit and talk to the residents, hear their concerns, at which, I would be at each one of those events. I want to hear the concerns. I would want every constituent to have my contact with me. So if they have a problem, then we can address it, whether it's fire, police, or wherever it may be. Let's get the problem addressed and not place there on the mat and wait for the next council meeting to decide if we can do it. If it's a problem for somebody to mention a concern of, then it's a problem. We need to get it addressed.
Now, with Berkeley County, what is the City of Charleston's relationship with Berkeley County government?
I believe it's a really good relationship. I know that anytime we would ask them for any assistance with anything, they've been right there. And being that we're short on patrol right now with the police department over there, I know that I've seen Berkeley County assist the City of Charleston over there numerous times. Again, it's a wonderful thing to have a mutual aid agreement with different area emergency personnel departments. However, we should be fully staffed, and we need to find out why we're not. We need to hire more. We need to hire more police. I'm not sure. I need to find it. I had that budget number. I just drew a blank on it. The budget, what the police department was, how many we were short, and I don't know where I put that paper at. I wanted to look up before I talk to you, but I don't know where I put that paper. However, our department was always fully staffed before. We were the highest paid department in the state, and we've lost that somewhere. I don't know how or why. Totally, I know part of the reason was before Chief Reynolds' administration with the prior police chief we had, and that's no fault of Chief Reynolds, but it's a reflection because now he's short-staffed because we had over 100 plus officers leave, some of them with 25, 30, 35 years of experience. You cannot hire that experience back. You can't get that experience. You can't pay enough for that type of experience. You really can't. So for us to lose that amount of personnel in a few years, that should have been a concern to the entire city council and to the mayor's office. Why are these people going? I know Mayor Riley was there at the time, and he was in his tenure of leaving. And again, we started over with a new mayor, and then a new police chief, and then a fire chief. We had the superstore event happen. Right. We had so many things happen within 8 years here. It just so many things occurred that was like a shock almost to a lot of folks. We've been through three or four fire chiefs in the last 10 years. Right. I've met all the fire chiefs, pretty much. Chief Brock was a great chief. It just so many things happen, and our police and our fire personnel, they're being overlooked in a lot of ways. Our fire apparatus is in great shape. Our police vehicles seem to be okay. I haven't been to a lot of the stations, the substations. I know that I see a bunch of police vehicles sitting around. They look abandoned. I'm concerned about that. Why are these cars sitting here for 6 months, just sitting it behind the police station? I have a lot of questions about all those things, and we'll get to all that later on.
And where are these people who are leaving the Charleston Police Department going?
Well, for example, the whole COVID shot thing was a mandatory thing that employees had to take the shot. I've spoken to several officers who have left, both the fire and police department. And Sheriff Lewis, once again, wow, what a great move he did. He welcomed them all to come. Any of them he had budget for to come work for him at the sheriff's office. Some of the other fire departments up in Dorchester County, other fire departments wanted to hire those personnel that we lost, captains, engineers. Those people, you just can't put somebody in the driver's seat to drive a fire apparatus, and you just can't put him in there and expect him to perform the job that the others are doing with 8, 10, 12, 15, 18 years of experience. Battalion chiefs. You have guys that the city spent a lot of money in training on. That's like just taking that money and just putting it over here in the side in the drawer and just letting it go. It doesn't work that way, because then you got to spend that money again to retrain somebody else. And when you have that type of experience, 15, 18, 20 years as a leader in command staff, with as a captain or engineer, acting captain, or a battalion chief or an assistant chief. When you lose those folks, it's a concern. And I've spoken with several of the firefighters. They've given a lot of their time and away from their family and their time in their life to the city fire department. They're very hurt by it. That was their dream, was to work for the Charleston Fire Department. That was a lot of people's dream around here, especially they grew up here, was to work for the Charleston Fire Department. It was an honor to work for them. I got a friend of mine worked for Atlanta and moving here, and that was his dream, was to work for the Charleston Fire Department from Atlanta. I mean, believe that. Yeah. I mean, he wanted to work for the Charleston Fire. It was a great fire department. And I just think we need to oversee a lot more what goes on there and take care of our employees. We're overlooking our employees. And once again, I would not be doing fair justice if I didn't say, our sanitation workers, God bless them. They've always done a great job. And I praise them for the work they do.
What resources does the sanitation department need right now?
Well, the sanitation department, like the fire and police department, their garage downtown, it's understaffed. I haven't spoken with the gentleman over there yet about this. I'm going there today, actually, to speak with him. I know that they only have three heavy maintenance mechanics. They are subcontracting work out to other places. Well, here's the problem with that, Quintin. When you send work out to other places, they may be short-staffed as well. And so they're just going to put your fire apparatus or your police vehicle or your trash compactor in the back in the corner till they can get to it. Because we shouldn't have to depend on that. Once again, we never had to depend on that before. We had our own police mechanic garage shop, which they still have West Ashley. We had our own maintenance shop on Milford Street that worked on the fire apparatus, and they had one on Savannah Highway. I remember Chief Thomas, Rusty's daddy, used to paint the fire trucks in there. I mean, Chief Gutkey was the fire chief, and Mayor Riley did an outstanding job back then with them, and everybody seemed to work. It was a fine-tuned machine working for so many years. It was a growing machine that the city continued to grow. Our personnel continued to grow. Our equipment continued to get better every year. I can remember being in the police department. This is before you were born, probably, Quintin. But I remember being in the police department, getting in a 1980 model Chevrolet Malibu, and there was no floorboard hole. I put my foot down, and I could see the ground. It was rusted because of driving through the flood. They didn't undercoat the cars back then, and the vehicles were rusted out. Unbelievable. But we made a lot of changes. And I say we, the city in a whole. I mean, everybody worked together, and that's what this is all about with me running for this here seat, is working together. I was talking to some folks last night at a Rotary Club meeting, and I told them, I said, too many people on the right side, left side, nobody's getting along. I'm the guy in the middle. I'm that guy in the middle. Too many people get on the right-hand side of the boat. I know you've been in a boat before. The boat turns over to the right. They get in the left, the boat turns over to the left by the swimmer. You can't swim, you're going to drown. Yeah. Some of our people, they can't swim, they're drowning. Our city's drowning in so many ways because there hasn't been a captain at the stern of the ship, somebody responsible, taking it through the storm. And we're in a storm, my friend. And if people aren't paying attention to this, we're in trouble.
Let me get back to the issues here in District 1. Where in District 1 do you identify and also develop those unique characteristics when it comes to residential, commercial, and mixed use?
Well, Clements Ferry Road over by Beresford, that areas are growing. I know Google just is going to build a big warehouse over there. And, we have to slow down the development a little bit to maintain the infrastructure part of it. Number one, again, I know I keep harping on this here, but I'm concerned about people's well-being, and we have to put another firehouse over there. Wish we could do it today. And, really, we probably could. We could put a trailer over there, a mobile trailer over there, and put a fire truck outside with a canopy over it. We did that on Johns Island. When we first annexed property on Johns Island, we put we got a little garage, 10 garage thing put there, and a trailer. And that's where they stayed. It's not a very costly, they don't have to be some $3 million facility overnight. we need to utilize something immediately over there. It's not a hard process to do. The infrastructure part of it with businesses and all, again, we don't have enough restaurants. It's a growing area. You see signs, and one day a sign says property for sale, and next thing you see is under contract. I see it all over that island. But we have to provide our infrastructure facilities before we continue to build, and there's no facilities to help the people. It's an inconvenience. You don't want the people who move over there, whether it's businesses or residents, to be inconvenienced. You want it to be a comfortable place where people can live and be comfortable and be happy.
What is the quality of life there?
The quality of life is good on Daniel Island. The quality of life, I think overall everywhere in Charleston is a very good place. That's why people move here. Everybody wants to move to Charleston. Just look at the numbers of people move here a day. And the quality of life is great. I can't say it's like some areas of Charleston, or some areas you would say, well, I wouldn't live over there. I wouldn't live West Ashley. Well, I grew up West Ashley. I would live West Ashley. West Ashley is a very nice place. It's all about what people think, what people make of it. Again, the quality of life is good, with the exception of not having enough facilities to maintain the people who live over there. Mainly restaurants and businesses, places to shop at, things to do. There's people want to go take their kids to a shopping place. They don't want to go all the way to Mount Pleasant or to Tanger Outlet. They would prefer to stay on the island.
Now, how many restaurants and shops will be needed over the next 5-10 years as District 1 continues to grow?
Well, again, when you look at Daniel Island, again, folks who live on Clements Ferry Road, it's almost like it's not part of Daniel Island. People think when they live on Daniel Island, they live in that one area there off the exit, the Daniel Island exit by the tennis center, right, and all that. They think that's only Daniel Island. Well, it's not that. It's a very large area. And I will say this. I remember whenever they first annexed Daniel Island, and they said, this will be the future city of Charleston. What we, as Charlestonians, know as downtown Charleston will be known as the historical city of Charleston, and Daniel Island will be the city of Charleston where folks are going to move to live, and it'll be the largest area of residents and businesses there is. And it's moving in that direction. But however, we need, on Clements Ferry Road, we could use probably 10 more restaurants right now over there. We could use another fuel gas station for sure to just put a refuel up over there, but at least one more gas station. Just restaurants, places for people to go, places for kids to ride their bicycles too. You have all these kids over there have their bicycles in the peninsula and stuff. Right. They have nowhere to go. They sure cannot ride their bicycle on Clements Ferry Road. Right. Okay? Right. That's like the Daytona Speedway. You cannot put your kid out there to ride there. There's nowhere for them to go in that area. There needs to be some restaurants or places for kids to go there to enjoy themselves, enjoy quality of life, to have something to do besides their parents have to take them somewhere in a car.
How would you maintain and enhance the existing residential and commercial character of the district and provide for compatible, appropriate, and high quality development and redevelopment?
When the first part of that broke up, my friend, come again?
Yes, sir. How would you maintain and enhance the existing residential and commercial character of District 1 and provide for compatible, appropriate, and actually high quality development and redevelopment?
I think it's a joint effort. I think it's a community effort with all involved. It's not a one-person decision. I think you have to involve the community in the decisions that are made to do that. And for the area to grow, you need to involve your community, your citizens in that area. They need to have some say-so, and not just say-so, that their voices need to be heard as to what they want, what they would like to see, how they would like their city to grow over there. Again, in Clements Ferry Road area, I know I focus on that a lot because the other part of the island is so well self-sustained, so to say, with things. But in that Clements Ferry Road area, you have such a large area. There's a lot of commercial. You have all these tractor trailers driving there, dropping off their trailers to be exported and shipped to go to the port. Right. Well, we need to have more community involvement out there. You don't want to put a 3,000 residential house right next door to that export company facility. It's just not fair to the citizens, it's not fair to the property owners, and I don't think it's a fair thing to do there. And That's a great question. It's something we're going to have to look into and get more input from the citizens who live over there. I don't think one person should be, or one council person should make a decision as to what's going to actually go in there. This is what it is, and I'm going to vote yes on it because I'm probably going to vote no most of the time because I've heard it from the folks that live over there about the traffic. And the more we build over there, the more traffic's going to come. So we have to, again, it's about, public safety, and you're not serving the public and you're not making it a safe environment if you continue to grow and add more commercial buildings and add more over there where there's no infrastructure for sidewalks for kids to get back and forth. Something for the children to do in their neighborhood. Okay, now on the other side of Daniel Island, where Daniel Island Drive and all it is right there, everybody has golf carts. You couldn't run a golf cart on Clements Ferry Road. I wouldn't recommend it at least. But however, that side over there, there's so many places to go. If you ride by there tomorrow sometime and you look at the school over there, the elementary school, there's 300 bicycles sitting out there. Every kid rides their bicycle to school pretty much in the morning over there. That's a great thing. I did that as a kid growing up West Ashley. I rode my bicycle to Oakland Elementary School, down Savannah Highway, believe it or not. But again, it wasn't that big. It's a 2-lane road. So things have changed. And with that change, we have to have leaders that can represent our citizens for those changes and hear what they have to say and not just make their own opinion. The people, the folks live over there on Daniel Island, you need to hear their concerns about what's being built, how fast it's being built, and what's going to benefit them. We need to get a hold on right away. I'm concerned about it.
Speaking of that, how many homes in the district have been built at a fairly consistent rate?
There's 3 more subdivisions going in the next 15 months, 18 months. Again, with those subdivisions, it's great for families to move there, but what are they going to do? Where are they going to go? Where are they going to eat? I know I sound like a tape recorder repeating this, but we have to have more facilities there for folks to do things over there. It's not fair for the citizens to have to drive back over to Daniel Island or drive back to Mount Pleasant or North Charleston, to get a hamburger. There is one Hardee's over there. Thank the good Lord for that. But, people want to have more variety of food than just a fast food restaurant. They would like to have a mom and pop shop. They want to have a nice place to eat. Some Southern cooked fried chicken, pork chops and rice and gravy or something. Not just a hamburger.
Well, let me ask you this, Dan. What is the median home price in District 1?
I believe it's right around $375, depending on where you are. That's an overall. And it could be as high as maybe $500. But if you did an overall average, I think it averages out about $375, $475. I looked at that number about a month ago, and maybe it was $475 is what the median home was. I need to look at it again. I don't want to tell you wrong. Again, I don't want to tell you something that's not right.
What is the household type in District 1?
It's not so much single family dwellings. It's multiple family dwellings over there. A lot of families live over there. It's not just a area where just one type of household lives there. It's numerous families live there. It's a great place to raise a family, and that's why I said you see all those bicycles riding to school in the morning. It's a great place to raise a family. It's a family-oriented island. I would say that it's not. I can't say John's out because a lot of families everywhere's growing. Quintin, the entire city is growing so fast. I have 62 people a day move here. We cannot keep up with it fast enough. So I can't say that Daniel Island is here. There's this little resort where it's the some people call it the Brady Bunch neighborhood. I don't want to call it that because you can't just say that because everywhere in Charleston is growing. That was undeveloped. Our islands, they're all growing. James, Johns Island, West Nashville, everywhere is being developed and growing. This is just one piece of the pie that I'm trying to help focus on to put it together so we can make it work properly and everybody gets a place to be happy.
And what are the household incomes around District 1?
I don't have that exact answer, and I can't tell you a wrong answer.
Okay. What strategies would you implement that will promote the economic vitality and financial stability of District 1 while maintaining its residential character and preserving also its natural beauty.
What this here, I'm sorry, come on.
Yes, sir. What strategies would you implement that would promote the economic vitality and financial stability of District 1 while maintaining its residential character and preserving its natural beauty?
Again, if we start building more commercial restaurants over there, that's going to employ people. You know, I know that employment is a thing nationwide now, and it's a concern here in our city as well with the restaurants. They cannot seem to find enough employees. But looking for the future there with Daniel Allen and the area there, my plan would be to encourage, try to push as hard as we could to employ folks, even kids out of school in the summertime. Find planned programs for them to be involved in over there. I see ads all the time on the Daniel Allen Forum and the Daniel Allen Mom page where there's kids always trying to find work to do. They're great for them. Good for them. Good for the. Thanks to the parents for telling their kids, you need to work a part-time job when you're out in the summertime. I mean, they offer to go paint places to help move people. I just think that the strategy is to build more restaurants, have more restaurants over there for the folks. And when you do that, it brings in more employment for people to work.
Now, besides Daniel Allen, well, let me ask you this. Well, how many summer programs does the city have?
I mean, what programs?
Summer programs for the youth.
Again, I don't know the exact number for how many programs. I know the city has a lot of programs for youth programs. They have a lot of youth programs, a lot of programs that the city had for years for the kids, for different things for kids to do. Reverend Jimmy Gallant, he was great. He was a city councilman before. He did a lot of things with kids groups.
Right.
Very involved in that. We need to be more involved with that. And again, our community policing program would bring back a lot of that. It really would. You've been involved with it. And you know what? Whenever you involve the citizens with the public service aspect, things with the police or the fire, or whether it be, maintenance, heavy equipment, when you involve children in that, their kids growing up, it gives them some goal. They go, man, I don't think I want to do this. I used to have ride-along programs with the fire or police. You can do a ride-along. Kids want to come to the firehouse. I've seen we let kids come to the firehouse and, on Saturday come clean up and do things and just kind of learn what the fire department does. And when you do that, with the place we are in our world, Quintin, when you do that, whenever you involve kids and people more with the police department, it kind of breaks that, separation where they become more unified together and they trust the police more and they want to do more with the police and they want to be involved more. And the police knows little Johnny or knows, Bob over here. He knows who lives in that neighborhood and they know who their patrolman is over there because they become united together. We need to become more united and work more closer together with everybody involved.
Now, let me ask you, besides obviously Ansonboro and the French Quarter and Daniel Allen, what other communities and neighborhoods in District 1 need to be protected, enhanced, and reshaped?
Everywhere in the city, Clinton. No area is not subject to a crime happening. And you can't put police on every corner to do that. But however, if you show a strong police presence, and if the community becomes involved, it takes community involvement as well, a lot of it. Because it first starts with them. They have to protect it. They got to protect their property. They got to lock their property up. They need to lock their car up. They have to be aware of what's going on around them. If they see a strange car keeps riding by or something going on just doesn't look right, most of the time it's not right. It's a simple thing. You just pick the phone up and call somebody. Call 911 or call the administrative line and say, I don't see any crime going on. I'm not trying to single out anybody, but something's not right. This guy's riding around his truck over here with his lights on, his lights off, it's dark. There's a lot of construction going over here in the back of my neighborhood. Maybe somebody should come check it out. It's about crime prevention. Let's deter crime and let's have crime prevention. When community gets involved and they are more aware and people see them out there and they notice, they wave at somebody riding by. Well, if you wave at a person who's going to commit a crime, he knows that you've already recognized him. He's going, oh, then people saw me. I better keep going. I better leave most of the time. It's about being awareness. It's about total awareness of your surroundings and what goes on. And again, it's about the police departments with, knowing who the businesses are over there and being involved and who the business owners are.
Speaking of, okay, let me reread that question. Besides, obviously, Ansonboro and French Quarter and Daniel Island, what other communities need to be enhanced, elevated, and protected? But let me ask it a different way. Let me ask it a different way. Yeah, let me ask it a different way. What is your 5-point plan for Gainehoy?
Where's what?
What's your 5-point plan for Gainehoy?
My 5-point plan?
5-point plan for Gainehoy.
I think that Gainehoy, again, we have to have more police presence over there. You have to have that. You have to have the firehouse over there. You have to. The infrastructure cannot continue to grow over the people building, and you don't have anything for nobody to do over there. I know it's like a repeat here. I keep saying that, but it's a problem. The 5-point plan. I'd love to see Gainehoy area grow, but I don't think it should move forward growing right now until we have the infrastructure to handle it. And people complain all the time about the traffic. Well, it's going to continue to come as long as we continue to build.
Do you support high density development in Gainehoy?
No, not at this time. Not at this time. I want I'm about public safety, and the folks who live out there, the peninsula and Gainehoy in that area, they're not being protected with fire mainly. Is the main thing. They're just not getting the public service that they're entitled to, they deserve, and that we should provide to them right now.
Speaking of businesses, how do you help local businesses boost their competitiveness among other businesses that are coming to the district?
We have our hotel, that 2% tax, the 2% tax they charge to hotels and bars and stuff. I know that a good bit of that in America is discretion how he uses that, but I think that you should have some incentive plans. Some of that money should be used to go back to the business owners, the restaurants, those who pay into that. Okay, so those who pay into that should receive some type of help back from the city from that money.
Yes, sir. Oh, I lost your audio. Yeah, I just lost you for a second, but I can hear you now. Yes, sir.
Yeah, but I think that when you pay that 2% hospitality tax, the folks on Daniel Island Answer, pay that 2% hospitality tax. I mean, I need to know more about where that money goes and how much is coming back to the business owners over there, to the restaurants or the bar, etc. How much is coming to hotels? How much is coming back over to help them, assist them, and what way are we promoting them with that money, if any of that money?
How are they being promoted right now?
Sorry?
How are they being promoted right now, these businesses?
From what I've been told, I was in 2 restaurants last night. They told me they didn't receive anything back. They don't receive any assistance as far as anything from the city helping them, except for they get fire and police. They don't receive anything back. I need to know more about that.
Okay. What business improvement district initiative would you bring over to Daniel Island? I know they're trying to actually implement that right here near King Street. How would you implement that here on Daniel Island?
I think we need a little more. The Greenway area is a big concern for people over there, but you have all that construction going on. Again, I keep talking about Clements Ferry Road. We'll get back to the other part of the island in a moment. But the Clements Ferry Road area, which is under such heavy construction and building right now, there's hopefully when that road is completed, we will have sidewalks installed there, and the Greenway. Hopefully, they'll put a bike path in for the kids to ride from communities in the back there. But that's a ways away. I think it won't happen overnight. Again, all this takes money, and where that money is going to come from, we're going to have to get into and find out where this money is and where we can move from to get it to take care of it.
And part of this BID is actually initiated hypothetically. That is, how would you create a business preservation alliance for the people in your district?
I think you can do a couple things. You can do like a kind of tax break for those folks, for businesses, whatever. You give them a 3-year tax break or something on taxes or whatever. for the first 2 years or 3 years or whatever it may be. It's something we would have to look into. Again, it would be a joint effort, not just by one person. That would require working with the entire council and everybody else involved. That's not just a one person decision, I don't believe. I think it should be more people involved in it as to come up with a plan involving the business owners, what they would like to see, or the homeowners, what they would like to see, overall together.
Yes, sir. And I know you have to run, but how has the location, style, and quality of retail development in District 1 changed during the period of growth?
How's the what? I'm sorry?
Yes, sir. How has the location, style, and quality of retail development in District 1 changed during the period of growth?
I don't know that it's really changed a lot because, again, they haven't built enough retail space on the Clements Ferry Road side. The island part itself, the main part of the island, I bet they've put 2 more banks over there now and another drugstore over there. And there's not many, I don't believe there's any vacancies over there on that main part of the island. I don't believe there is any of the buildings over there. I don't believe there's any vacancies at all. Which means that it's such a small place right there, though. So you can only build so much in that area to provide parking, etc., that type of stuff for the people. And so the Clements Ferry Road side, it's a new place. Everything over there is newly built structures. They're not like downtown.
Right.
There's nothing over there, over 40 years old.
Right.
Right. So it's not like downtown where the buildings are old and they need more attention from the city for, you got to have more inspections done because, structural stability, different things. We don't have that issue over there yet because it's such a newly built place. And whenever commercial little shopping plazas go up, they seem to be getting filled pretty quick with different places.
Speaking of which, is a smaller scale commercial development ideal for your district?
I think so. I don't think you need like big shopping centers over there. We don't need a Daniel Allen Mall or a Daniel Allen Town Center. Maybe in 20 years from now, that may occur. But I don't see that right now. I think that the little shops they do need more shops over there. Just for folks to do. There's not a lot of shopping places to go over there. There's really not. People have to leave there to go to Mount Pleasant or go to Tanger or go to some other nice place to shop at.
Bell Hall.
Charleston or North Charleston.
Oh, yeah. Bell Hall is a good place for some of those people to go to as well. Now, how should the city plan to slow outward expansion of the city limits and focus on making necessary changes within the city limits?
How should the city
plan to slow outward expansion of the city limits and focus on making necessary changes within the city limits?
Well, again, that's a joint effort. The outward growing limits of the city, will need to be addressed. I'm not trying to lose some gentleman who's going to welcome office here. It needs to be addressed with all involved, with community involvement, with all involved, and we.
Yeah. I lost you again, Tony, at the audio. I lost you again with the audio, but it's, yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Can you hear me yet?
Yeah, I can hear you there. Go for it.
Okay, I don't know what happened there. I don't know what you heard or what you didn't hear.
No, I didn't hear anything. Didn't hear anything, sorry. But yeah, let me talk to you. Okay, let's fast forward and let's talk about the seawall. I know there's a plan to build a 1.1 billion seawall around much of downtown Charleston here, and the plan is leaning towards relying on concrete structures, although many would like to see the United States Army Corps of Engineers include less intrusive solutions such as living shorelines and enhanced marshes. Let me ask you this, Tony. If a seawall keeps water out, doesn't it also keep the water in?
It does, and that would be something for the engineers or the Army Corps engineers. I'm real big with the Army Corps engineers. Believing in them, they do a great job. I would think we would need to get professional opinions from especially them, Army Corps engineers. But I like that question because when you put a seawall up, where is that water going to go? It's going to go to the barrier island, to other islands, James Island, back over towards Daniel Island. And we don't really have a major flooding issue over like we do downtown in a lot of areas. We do have some street standing water flooding sometimes, but not a major flooding event that happens like downtown. And my concern about that barrier wall is if we were to build that wall, then where's that water going to go? Where are we going to push that water to? I mean, we've been flooding in this city since I was a kid. I used to skim board. I'm not sure if you know what that is. Some of your folks probably do. I take a piece of wood and hop on that board in my mom and dad's front yard and skim across that grass. It would be knee deep, man. I mean, it was just like amazing. And this was West Ashley. And when we would go downtown, it was a known thing. If we ever went to the old Hardee's there when it was on Spring Street,
Right.
when it was a drive-in,
Yes.
I can remember as a kid going there. You didn't go at certain times because high tide came, it was going to be flooded. The same way it is today. This flooding has been going on for a long time. It's not something that just occurred in the last 20 years or 30 years. We've been dealing with this flooding for over 60 years. And again, common sense tells you if the road's flooded, don't go down it. If we had barricades up, you wouldn't go down it. Unfortunate for some of the folks that lived in low-income housing down there on Lee Street, Jackson Street, and those areas over there, Hagen Street, Fishburne,
Oh, yes.
all those areas, they suffered from that for so long. It was heartbreaking to see sometimes going to the police station that their homes or their furniture is out in the front yard 2 days later. I used to think, man, my God, why did we even build anything down here? Why did we raise it up? We didn't have no vision as to what would occur, I reckon. We thought the flooding would go away. The flooding's not going to go away. And I don't believe that this barrier wall is going to keep it from affecting some of those low-lying areas, such as Hagen Avenue and those low-lying areas over there. Those people have suffered for a long time. It aches my heart. Again, I know it's not really my district, but it's my city. I call it my city. I love my city. And as you can tell, but I care about the people. But I care about folks, and I care about people overall. I'm a giving person, and I don't like people, a certain area to be just focused on where, we're going to protect this area, we're going to put a wall up. And listen, everybody is equal to protection and service, and public service by a city, not just one neighborhood, okay? Everybody. Now, some people may not like that, but I'm just a blunt, plain-spoken person. I'm not a college-educated guy, but I care about people. And I think that if we're going to service, let's service everybody. Let's take care of everybody. Let's do the best we can to keep people aware of things.
And I have two more questions before Zoom cuts me off. But let me ask you, should the city just create a sort of multi-layer approach to great infrastructure versus an actual seawall?
That's a good point. I think maybe they should. It's something to look into. And I think the city is constantly the leaders. I think they are doing a lot of research on things. I believe that they're doing a lot of research and trying to figure out ways to do things. And they've been pumping water, hiring these here companies to come in and pump these water, putting these here underground pumps in forever. And I don't know that they're working. And because the streets are still flooding. We're below sea level, so of course we're going to flood a lot of times. And, we haven't seen flooding bad yet. Wait till the next hurricane comes, and it's coming. We've just been blessed.
Right. I know there's not a lot of flooding on Daniel Island, but in the future, do you foresee flooding heading that way?
See flooding heading that way?
Yes.
Yeah, it's surrounded by water. So I see it heading that way. I do. If you put a wall up, if you build a wall, the water's going to go somewhere. And not just Daniel Island, it can go to other islands. It can go to Mount Pleasant. It can go everywhere. It's affect everybody. Sullivan's Island, it's going to affect a lot of people.
And where should a pump station be ideally in District 1 on Daniel Island?
I think I would say probably somewhere high ground, probably somewhere maybe Clements Ferry Road area right there would probably be the the ideal place. You wouldn't want to put it like right there at River Landing because there's nowhere to place it right there, of course. But I think a pump station close to Clements Ferry Road, maybe where we put the new firehouse and the new police substation, we put it there. So it's all kind of right there together.
Okay. And I know you love people, and I know when you worked at the police department, they were big on the horse patrol. Let's talk about the carriages in downtown Charleston. Where does that fit in the city's future?
I believe that we're probably going to bring the equestrian unit back, the horse patrol unit back. I believe that's a big PR thing. It's not only just for police enforcement; it's police presence. And people come to Charleston. We have our horse carriages, and people love the tourists like to come see that. Sure. People used to love in the evening time to see those horses down there at dark. Can I pet the horse? Listen, I'm scared to death of a horse, man. I'm scared of them. I don't want to get near them. I am scared. I'm just being honest about it. And I was a motorcycle officer there. And so people say, you're crazy. Well, maybe I was, but I was smart to stay away from a horse because I knew. And the horse knew I was scared of him. So I wasn't about to get on one of those horses. I wouldn't even go to the horse barn and walk in there and mess with them because I was scared they would jump over the wall or something would happen. But I believe that the city has done a good job of managing the way they've preserved the city to keep tourists still continue to come here on a constant basis. Our food, our restaurants are phenomenal. We've lost a few. We've lost quite a few businesses on King Street after that event happened. And we need to continue. You can't just stay in one place and not continue to improve your city. Otherwise, it falls apart. King Street's in bad shape. King Street's in bad shape. It needs a lot of, and they're getting ready to revitalize that. I saw that. So it's much needed. That's a much needed thing. But again, you can't just focus on one area of Charleston. People used to always say, all anybody cares about is downtown. I don't think that's fair. You shouldn't just care about one area. And you know where that comes from? That comes from representation of each area of the city of Charleston. You have to address those things. Hear what your folks live there, your citizens live there. Hear what they're saying to you. Bring it to the council. Let's get together. Let's come make everybody try the best we can to make everybody happy. We're never going to make everybody happy, but let's just try to keep everybody where they are.
Where should there be a shared common ground when it comes to the horse carriages and their future in the city of Charleston?
I think that Danny Riccio with the livability court, he's done a great thing with that there. And I'm not big on the horses being out there in 100-degree heat. I don't think that animals should be out there in that type of temperature. I believe that there's certain areas they manage that really well. I don't know if you've done the horse tour. I've done a couple of them, but I've never been on the same one twice. And there's certain streets they go on. I know some folks down there have concerns about they don't want them in their neighborhood. Some people don't like motorcycles in their neighborhood. Some people don't like bicycles. Not everybody's always going to agree on things all the time. But this is a historical city, and we have to preserve our history and the historical things that occur. That's why a lot of tourists continue to come. Some folks will say, I don't care if the tourists come or not. Well, you do care. You should care because they're bringing money. Your taxes will go up if it went for the tourist base we have.
Now, how should the city preserve the carriage industry despite this controversy?
Well, we continue to monitor it. I mean, we can't just let it. Again, the livability court, those guys stay on top of that real close to preserve. Be sure that the carriages are things are picked up behind. They're kept clean. They're monitored on a daily basis in the summertime on things. And our streets and sidewalks, they do a great job of doing things, preserving things with the city. And my phone's ringing, the reason why I keep looking over there. But I have another meeting for the bit right now, but I'm enjoying talking with you.
I'm late for work.
So much to talk about, my friend. So much, I promise. Yeah. And I hope there's more to talk about soon after next week.
Sure. I know you got to run. So let me thank you again for your time on Quintin's Close-Ups, Tony. And if you win the election, come back and we can follow up and do some more questioning.
Listen, I would love to. I'm delighted to anytime, man. You got my number, and anytime you want to call with a question or anything, and I'm here to answer those questions. And I'm not your normal. I'm not a politician, Quintin. I'm not, and I'm not here to try to be some politician. I'm not looking to run for a Senate office or anything. I'm looking here to continue to serve my citizens of the city of Charleston and where I live, Daniel Island, that area. I have to be the voice for those folks over there. They haven't had that voice, and they need the voice of that person to help them present things to council. And so we're not overlooked certain areas, especially Clements Ferry Road. They've been pushed aside, like a stepchild is put out there and forgotten about. And it's not fair. And we have to do a better job overall as being leaders with the city and citizens with the city. We have to do. It's a joint effort. It's not a one-person ball game. It's everybody working together for the better of our livelihood, our safety, our children, our city. We deserve that. We do. And I look forward to doing that, being that person. I believe that I am. I have good intentions with it, goodwill to do that. If your house catches on fire on Daniel Island, you probably will see me there. Come and see, what can I do to help? You know, if you're in an accident or a crime occurs over there, you may see me knocking on your business door the next day or something, because I want updates weekly or daily, what goes on, what happened over there, and what actions were taken. Because that's part of providing services for those business or homeowners. You just don't go to take a report and then it's over. Somebody's goods got stolen. Somebody's vehicle got stolen. Somebody's house caught on fire and burnt up. We have to care about our people. You know, if the house catches on fire, I want to know. I want to be a part of it. I want to know, hey, what can we do? Let's get the Red Cross over here. Let's see what we can do to help you out.
Tony Fogle, thank you so much for your time. Again, welcome to the award-winning Quintin's Close-Ups.
Quintin, I thank you so much, my friend. Look forward to seeing you, and God bless you, and God bless our city.
Likewise. Thank you.